Hello, Com 1700 students. The purpose of this video is to give you some tips and advice for preparing to do your best on Exam 1, which occurs in Module 5, and to give you some ideas about how to go about studying and preparing for this exam. So forgive me if I look away once in a while. I have a list of things here I want to remember to tell you. If you look at the schedule page of the syllabus, you'll see that the exam ends on October 2nd at 11:59 p.m. The exam is open all that week, but you will need to finish it before 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. Now, you get one attempt on this exam, so you can't go in and out. You need to go in once, take the full exam, and finish it and submit it before 11:59 p.m. on October 2nd. There are 50 questions and you get 75 minutes, which is an hour and 15 minutes. So I recommend that you find an hour and 15 minutes of uninterrupted time. If you need to go into your room and shut the door, if you need to take your laptop to the library, whatever you need to do to create that window of time when you will not be interrupted or distracted. Now, students often ask me for study guides. I don't give a separate study guide for exams in this class because your study guides are built into the e-textbook chapters. You'll notice that at the beginning of each chapter, there is a list of bullet points, objectives, where it says, after studying this chapter, you should be able to do the following. And it has a list of things there. It says you should be able to define certain terms or list certain things or explain certain theories. So my first bit of advice would be to test yourself against those bullet points at the beginning of each chapter and make sure you can do all of the things that it's asking for. Another nice feature of our textbook is that we have flashcards in each chapter. A lot of students find those useful for studying. Just remember that those are more definitional, and learning definitions is great, but the questions on an exam are not all definitional. There are a lot of application questions too. So make sure you can not only define the concept, but that you really truly understand it and can explain and apply it. Now, as you prepare for this exam, I strongly recommend that you spend some time going over that material and prepare as if you were going to take an exam with pencil and paper in a classroom. Now you might think, well, it's an online test, I can look things up. And it's true, I can't stop you from using your textbook. However, there isn't enough time for you to look things up within the window that you've been given to take the exam. And also, a lot of the questions are application questions, so it's not possible to look up the answer. I'm asking you to think a concept through in order to give an answer. So the best way to prepare is to assume that you would be in a classroom without any books or notes to help you. Remember, the purpose of an exam is to show me how well you've mastered the material and how well you understand it, not how good you are at looking things up. So while I concede that many of you will probably look some things up, there is not time to go into the exam unprepared and just think you're going to look everything up. So that's a little warning I'll give you ahead of time. On the exam itself, everything is randomized, both the questions and the answers, so no two students get the exact same exam. Other bits of advice I like to give is don't try to outsmart the test. And by that I mean sometimes students will say, oh, if you don't know the answer, pick C. That's not going to work for these exams because everything is completely randomized. So if you get 5 B's in a row, don't assume that's wrong. There's no pattern to the way right answers are indicated. Another thing students will do is say, oh, well, we already had a question about that topic, so this answer has to be something else. Like maybe I give you a question about social penetration theory, and then later on in the exam there's another question, and the right answer seems to be social penetration theory, but you're thinking, no, it can't be right because we already had a question on that. Again, don't try to outsmart the test. There may be multiple questions on the same topic. You just never know. So assume that everything is randomized. Look at each question as its own entity. Don't worry about looking for patterns in the test, that kind of thing. If you have computer problems, you're going to have to contact the help desk. I advise you to take the exam as early in the week as possible so that you can do that. If you're having computer problems late at night on Saturday, I'm not going to be able to help you with those. Not only am I probably not online, but I'm not a tech person. So in order to reduce your own anxiety, I would recommend that you take the exam earlier in the week so that you can get help with things like that if you need that. If you have any questions about the material that's covered on the exam, please ask those in advance. Contact me or Kayla and ask your question over email, or we can set up a WebEx appointment to discuss any concepts that you're having trouble with. A lot of times what will happen after an exam is a student will say, well, I didn't understand that concept very well, and you could have come to us and asked about it. Okay, so we're here to help you. We want to help you. Think now about how you're going to prepare for this exam, how much time you're going to put into it, and realize that a passing grade in this course is my certification as an agent of the university that you have mastered this material. And the best way to show that to me is to prepare well for the exam and get the best possible score that you can here. All of the quizzes and worksheets that you've done so far have been laying this groundwork so that you would have a thorough understanding of the material by the time you get to the exam. So I wish you very good luck. Contact myself or Kayla if you have any questions or issues, and I will look forward to seeing a lot of good grades on this exam. Take care, everybody.